In the midst of a typical suburban neighborhood lurks a perilous secret, nestled within the ordinary walls of a family home. It's here, where parents harbor a malicious secret, their sinister lives cloaked by a veil of deceit. But today, their horrifying charade is poised for a startling and sudden collapse. Imagine the terror coursing through them, their denial, as they come face to face with the harsh reality of their impending arrest. The tranquil illusion they've painted ripped apart as the wailing sirens transform their home into a shocking battlefield of confrontation. Their typical day transforms into a horrifying nightmare, unearthing the ghastly truths they've nurtured in secrecy. Under the merciless glare of police lights, their faces, inked with disbelief, reflect the harsh truth. They are no longer invincible. Their vile secrets, once buried under the pretense of familial bliss, stand naked for all to see. Their world crumbles, as the unyielding tide of law enforcement closes in. As the stony-faced officers advance, their glares, devoid of sympathy but hardened from witnessing the worst of humanity, offer a flicker of satisfaction. Justice is finally within grasp. The click of the handcuffs signifies the collapse of their deceptive world, built on a foundation of monstrous deeds. Their smug manipulation is crumbling and the world isn't turning a blind eye. They reel, not only from the possibility of legal punishment, but also from the impending public disgrace and social exile. Their carefully constructed masks slip, revealing the monstrous reality underneath. As their world spirals out of control, they with their reckoning. It is more horrific than they could have ever fathomed. But how did it come to this? What led to the arrest of these seemingly ordinary parents? Let's delve into the chain of events that led to the unraveling of their dark deeds. It all started with a whisper, a murmur of something amiss. Neighbors began noticing peculiarities, late-night activities, odd behaviors. The children, once vibrant and full of life, started to appear withdrawn, their smiles replaced with vacant stares. Their silence spoke volumes, but it was the unease in their eyes that sparked the initial suspicions. Then came the anonymous tip. A call in the middle of the night, a voice shrouded in fear, but resolute in its purpose. The caller didn't provide a name, only a plea for someone to check on the welfare of the children. This tip was the catalyst, the beginning of a journey into a nightmare few could imagine existed. The law enforcement took note of the tip and began their investigation, a slow, meticulous process. They started by observing the family from a distance, gathering evidence, looking for any signs of misconduct. The parents maintained their facade of normality, but the mask was starting to slip. The cracks began to show, and it became increasingly impossible to ignore the mounting evidence. As the investigation continued, it unveiled a chilling truth. What initially seemed like an ordinary family was anything but. The parents, behind their veneer of respectability, harbored a world of darkness. A world they had carefully hidden from prying eyes. The children's testimonies were heart-wrenching, their stories narrating a tale of unimaginable cruelty. Each piece of evidence, each statement, each revelation chipped away at the parents' facade, revealing the monsters that lurked beneath. The deeper the investigation went, the darker the secrets that came to light. Their arrest was not a sudden act of justice, but the culmination of a series of events that started with a whisper and ended with a thunderous roar. A roar that echoed the children's silent cries for help, finally heard and answered. Behind the facade of a normal life, a web of deception was spun. Hidden behind the veneer of a picture-perfect family, the parents' malevolent actions were craftily concealed through a complex maze of manipulation and control. They played their parts flawlessly, donning the masks of caring and loving parents to the outside world. But behind closed doors, their true colors emerged, painting a horrifying portrait of deceit. They skillfully manipulated their surroundings, twisting truths and fabricating stories to maintain their illusion of normalcy. Their cunning lies served as a smokescreen, clouding the vision of anyone who dared to peek behind the curtain. They were puppet masters, pulling the strings of their children's lives, dictating their every move. They exerted control in a myriad of ways, from subtle manipulations to overt threats. This control was not just physical, but psychological as well. They used fear as a weapon, instilling it in their children to keep them in line and discourage any attempts of rebellion. The lies they told were as numerous as they were chilling. They spun tales of love and care, all while perpetrating unspeakable acts. They lied to their children, to their friends, to their neighbors, and to themselves. They created a false narrative, a deceptive reality that they lived in and forced their children to inhabit. The parents' web of deception was intricate and well-crafted, woven with threads of lies and manipulation. They hid their true selves behind a mask of normalcy, fooling everyone around them. Their deceit was their shield, their weapon, their way of life. But as with any web, the strands were interconnected. Pull one string, and the entire structure would begin to unravel. And so the seeds of their downfall were sown within their own deceit. Their web of lies, once their protection, would become their downfall. Beneath the surface of their everyday life, a chilling reality lurked. The facade was beginning to crack, the truth was starting to seep through, and the day of reckoning was drawing ever closer. For the victims, it was a nightmare that seemed to have no end, a chilling echo of terror, a constant reminder of the predicament they found themselves in. They were ensnared in a grim reality, woven by the very hands that were supposed to guide and protect them. Each day was a battle, a fight for survival, a struggle to keep the dread at bay. They lived in the shadow of fear, the kind of fear that clings to your skin, seeping into your very bones. It was the kind of fear that transforms your dreams into nightmares, your home into a prison, and your life into a constant state of anxiety. Yet, amid this ceaseless terror, a flicker of hope remained. It was a hope that whispered in the quiet moments, a hope that danced in the corners of their minds, a hope that promised a dawn after the long, tormenting night. This hope was their beacon in the overwhelming darkness, a lifeline they clung to with all their might. It was not just a hope for escape or for justice, but a hope for a life beyond the walls of their ordeal. Surviving each day required a courage that was beyond their years, a courage that was born of desperation and nurtured by the dream of freedom. This courage was not loud or ostentatious, it was quiet, resilient, and stubborn. It was the courage to wake up each day, to endure, to resist, and to keep the flicker of hope alive. Despite the unimaginable horror, they refused to let their spirit be crushed. They refused to be defined by their circumstances. They refused to let the darkness extinguish their light. They stood tall, their resilience shining brightly amidst the darkness, a beacon for all who found themselves in similar situations. Their resilience was testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to survive. They were victims, yes, but they were also survivors, warriors who battled unimaginable odds and lived to tell the tale. Their story is a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk behind the most unsuspecting facades, and the extraordinary courage it takes to survive. Justice, when it came, was swift and unforgiving. The courtroom was buzzing with tension and anticipation as the trial of the infamous evil parents began. The evidence, painstakingly collected and methodically presented, offered a chilling narrative of the parents' monstrous deeds. Each piece of evidence was like a brick, progressively constructing an unassailable fortress of guilt around them. The prosecution presented a compelling array of testimonies, surveillance footage, and forensic findings. The victims, their voices trembling yet resilient, unveiled their distressing experiences, their words resonating across the silent courtroom. The defense, on the contrary, seemed to crumble under the burden of the evidence, their arguments weak and unimpressive. Throughout the trial, the satisfaction of the officers was tangible. They had labored tirelessly, deciphering the complex network of deceit spun by the parents. And now, they observed as the truth they had strived so hard to discover was revealed to the court. As the sentence was pronounced, the parents' realization of their destiny was clearly visible on their faces. The gavel descended like a hammer, the noise echoing throughout courtroom, signaling the termination of their reign of terror. The parents, once invincible, now confronted a future prison. Their faces, once radiating arrogance and defiance, were now exhibits of shock and despair. But amid the stern faces and the solemn ambiance there was a sentiment of relief. The victims who had suffered greatly could finally exhale. They had been heard, they had been trusted, and their oppressors had been held accountable. The ultimate justice was not merely a sentence delivered in a courtroom, it was the termination of a nightmare for the victims. It was the climax of relentless pursuit by the officers. It was a signal to the world that know the magnitude of the evil, it cannot elude the law. Ultimately, the scales of justice had equilibrated. The evil parents, once untouchable, were now incarcerated. But the story doesn't end. There are countless stories of justice and resilience that remain untold. Subscribe to our channel for more captivating narratives and facts that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Remember, your support could help bring more stories like these to light. Be a part of the journey towards justice. Subscribe now. Yet, justice has countless faces, and resilience, countless stories. We've journeyed together through the chilling narrative of the evil parent's reign of terror and the relentless pursuit of justice. But remember, there are countless stories out there, waiting to be told, waiting to be heard. Stories of the wicked and the virtuous, of the oppressed and the triumphant, of deceit and justice. Each story is a testament to the indomitable human spirit and its ceaseless quest for truth. But we can't do it alone. We need your help to bring these stories to the fore. Your subscription to our channel not only keeps you on the edge of your seat with captivating narratives and facts, but also helps us shine a light on the untold stories of courage and justice. Each click, each view, each share brings us one step closer to a world where no story remains unheard, no justice unclaimed. So what are you waiting for? Be a part of this journey towards justice. Subscribe to our channel now, uncover the hidden truths, experience the thrill of the chase, feel the satisfaction of justice served. Remember, your support can make a difference. It's not just about viewing content, it's about being a part of a movement for truth, justice, and resilience. Stand with us as we delve deeper into the complex world of justice. Subscribe now, and together, let's give voice to the voiceless.